Welcome to Reformed Thinking. Today we're doing an explainer on a really key chapter from C.S. Lewis's Mere Christianity. He builds this fascinating argument that before you can ever find true comfort, you have to start with a very real sense of unease.
That's right. It sounds a bit backward, doesn't it? But Lewis says that the Christian faith doesn't begin by offering you a warm, fuzzy feeling. It actually starts with dismay. And he's going to argue that you can't even get to the good news until you first face some pretty hard truths.
So Lewis kicks things off by dealing with a big objection people have. They say that turning to God is like putting the clock back, that it's anti-progress. But Lewis flips that on its head and asks, what do we even mean by progress?
And here's his definition, which is just so simple and clear. Progress isn't just about moving forward for the sake of moving forward. It's about getting closer to a destination. And if you're on the wrong road, well, stepping on the gas only takes you further and further away from where you actually want to be.
This is his logic laid out perfectly. Think about doing a math problem. If you make a mistake on the first step, you don't just keep going. You go back, you find the error, and you fix it. Lewis is applying that same common sense to all of humanity. He's saying, look, it's pretty obvious we've taken a wrong turn somewhere. So the most progressive, the quickest way forward is actually to go back.
Okay, so if we accept that maybe we need to turn back, Lewis then starts looking for clues. Clues about the somebody or something, as he puts it, that's behind this moral law we all seem to have inside us. You know, that sense of right and wrong. He says there are two big pieces of evidence we can look at.
And the contrast between these two clues is everything. You look out at the universe, the outside evidence, and you see something an incredible artist would make, but it's also terrifying and dangerous. A hurricane doesn't care about you. But then you look at the moral law, what Lewis calls inside information, and it tells you something completely different. It tells you that whatever's behind all of this is intensely interested in right conduct and things like fairness and honesty.
So if this being behind the universe is all about right conduct, what does that tell us about what he is like? This is where Lewis really gets to the point about what goodness actually means, and it's not what many of us think.
This quote just hits you, doesn't it? The moral law isn't about being nice or soft or making you feel good. It's hard as nails. It lays down an absolute standard and doesn't seem to care one bit how hard it is for us to follow. It doesn't adjust for our feelings.
And this is the straight-up conclusion from that. If God is anything like the moral law he put inside us, then he is not a sentimental, soft sort of being. He isn't going to just make allowances for us because we're having a tough time. He operates on a fixed, unbending standard of good.
So you can probably see where this is going. This unbending, hard-as-nails standard of goodness puts us, as human beings, in a really, really bad spot. Lewis calls it a terrible fix, basically a corner that we've painted ourselves into and can't get out of. And here's the dilemma in a nutshell. Option A. Let's say there's no absolute goodness, no real God. Well, in that case, nothing we do matters. It's all pointless, a totally hopeless situation. Okay. Option B. There is an absolute goodness. Well, we fail to live up to it every single day. We know we do. That means we've put ourselves on the wrong side of it. We've made ourselves its enemies. So once again, our situation is hopeless.
This quote just nails the human condition, doesn't it? It's a total paradox. The very being who is our only source of real, lasting comfort is also the thing we are most terrified of. Why? Because we know we've offended him. We need him desperately, but we also want to run and hide from him.
So, after all that bad news, how in the world does this lead to Christianity? Well, Lewis's point is that you have to feel the weight of this terrible fix. You have to feel that dismay first, because if you don't, the central message of Christianity won't make a lick of sense to you.
Because when you boil it all down, this is what the Christian faith offers. It says, turn around, admit you are on the wrong road, that's repentance, and it promises you total forgiveness for having been on that wrong road in the first place.
And here's why the previous steps were so necessary. If you don't think you've done anything wrong, then an offer of forgiveness is just insulting, or at best, irrelevant. Lewis uses the analogy of a doctor. You're not going to take his medicine if you don't think you're sick. You have to realize you're sick first. This is the moment Lewis is building towards. The message of Christianity only starts to become relevant to you after you face the facts. Fact 1, there's a real standard. Fact 2, there's a God behind it. And fact 3, you've broken his law and put yourself in the wrong with him. Only then does the solution begin to sound like good news.
So he finishes up with this serious warning. If you go looking for a religion just to find comfort, you're going to end up with something flimsy, what he calls soft soap and wishful thinking. And that will eventually lead to despair. But if you start by looking for truth, even the hard, uncomfortable truth, you might just find real comfort waiting for you on the other side.
And that really is the final question Lewis wants us to ask ourselves. In our own lives, in our own thinking about God, what are we putting first? Are we trying to find a comfortable idea we can live with, or are we willing to face the truth no matter how much it might unsettle us at first?